Welcome back, folks. I didn't record an intro, so this is an after-the-fact intro. I've got the chassis finished, and I've got it rolled outside and tarped off. Next, I'll be getting going on the body, but today's video is all about finishing up the chassis and doing the hubs, the brakes, and getting the chassis finished off. I hope you enjoy it. I think that looks pretty good. I'm not sure how much you're supposed to compress that rubber in there, but I've got lock nuts, washers, and lock nuts, so I don't have to worry about them coming undone, but I'm just not sure if I'm over compressing the rubber. Anyway, that's what my instinct tells me is right. Okay, I didn't have my mic on, so I don't know if it caught anything that I said. But, okay, so the shorter distance to the center, I don't know if you can actually even see that, but that's about 19 inches. And if I measure the other side, it's about 22 inches. So it's the shorter side that that gets the bushing. And so I'm just using a socket. This is going to push on the outside, and it seems to center itself quite nicely. Now, come back here a little bit. Okay, now it's going in. Well, I've had a very busy but very productive week. Most of it was sandblasting and painting, and I didn't record a lot of that stuff. But I've got the differential back together, and I sandblasted the whole thing, painted it up, and sandblasted the leaf springs and a lot of the hardware, and I've got it back in the car. I still have to jack the differential up a bit and connect the straps. The other thing I need to do, I've got the what would you call those? The shock absorber. The shock absorber links need to be connected. Unfortunately, I did notice I've got an oil leak from one of the rear shocks. I don't see any of the others leaking, but at some point, I guess I'll have to do something. It's just leaking from right in here. Yeah, so now I have to do the brakes and the hubs. I've actually, we'll just take a walk over to the bench. And one of the hubs, I've already replaced the oil seal. Ideally, I should be replacing the bearings as well. There's absolutely nothing wrong with those bearings. The problem is you have to remove the bearing to get the oil seal out and then putting the bearing back in, but they're very expensive. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with those bearings. So I'm doing a bit of a no-no in that I'm pressing it out on the inner race, which can damage the bearing, but it seemed to come out easily enough, and I think I was successful. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one, and I'll record that so you can see exactly what I've done. And who knows, down the road I may have to replace the bearings, but I'll give it a try and see how it works out. The other thing is, I haven't talked about, but I got my engine back, and I didn't go ahead with any machining on it. I got a bit of a bad information off the internet, and I thought that that this engine was standard bore. I did see that there was one. I don't know if you can see that, but it has a it's already been sleeved, and so it's a little bit risky pulling out a sleeve and then replacing it. But yeah, fortunately, it's already 40 over, and I got some information off the internet and thought it was still standard bore, and that was bad info. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. If I re-sleeve it, it's going to cost me an extra $1,000, and it's not necessarily a guarantee it's going to work. What I may do is have a look at that engine that's in the twin cam, the 1500 engine. I wanted to upgrade to an 1800, but if I have to, I'll go with the 1500. Anyway, I've got time to think about that one. So yeah, it's coming along, close to another major milestone. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just using a bearing. I don't know what you call those things, but it just fits through the oil seal, and I'm going to put a little bit of force on it, and if it doesn't come fairly easily, then I'm going to apply heat to the outside and try and get it to expand a little and relieve some of the pressure. But the other one came out quite nicely, so without applying too much force. There, look at that, it's going right out with no force at all. Then it just dropped out. So yeah, this one came out even easier than the other one, so I'm not too worried. I don't think I've damaged the bearing. I want to keep the orientation of that. Okay, now this one, the other one didn't have seems to have a little bit of a metal ring or backer or something on top of it, so hopefully it means it's going to come out easier than the last one. But okay, now I'm going to lube this up a little bit. Same drill. That's bottomed out. And that's it. Pretty confident. It didn't take a lot of force, so I'm pretty confident that I didn't damage the bearing at all. And a little bit of oil in there. And with that, I think they're good to go. Now, left-hand side, it's a left-hand thread. Oh, yeah. There. Now, that's a little bit tricky because the tab on that has to go in that hole. And this is chewed up a little bit, but I think it'll be fine. And this one is the reverse thread. It's the left-hand thread. And let's see if my socket's going to work for that. I've got a 2-inch and I've got a 50 millimeter. And I think and that's not going to bite. And I'm sure the 2-inch won't either. I could make it work by grinding a little bit of a taper, and so it'll go in all the way. But it's not my socket. I bored it. Now I can do it the way it's been done in the past. Take a punch or a chisel and drive it around. You can't measure torque that way. Or I can order a tool online, or just order my own 50 millimeter socket and modify it, and then I've got it in the future. That might be the solution. I'll think on it. Now I can get this tightened down a little bit, but I know from doing the other side, this thing is just going to slip. Oh, I have to get this out of here. I took a 12.50 mil socket and I ground it off to get rid of the lead in, the taper there, and I thought that would bite, but it slips. So I know that is not 150 foot-pounds. So I'm not going to bend the tab over right now. I'm going to get myself the proper socket to tighten those down. And I'll get myself some new locking tabs too. But for now, this will let me put it together and get the wheels on it so I can move it around. For the moment, I'm only putting the gasket black on the one side because I expect to, I have to take it off again and tighten that and lock it down properly. So by doing the one side only, it should come apart cleanly, and then I can dope it up a little bit when I put it back together the last time. Now that's overlapping that O-ring just a little bit. That should hold it, keep it from falling out while I'm putting the axle in. So I have to go and grab the axle, give it a wipe. Okay. Now I'll just put a little bit of copper grease just where the brake shoes are rubbing. Copper grease on this adjuster. Get under there too, maybe. Not even really sure what you call these things now. Acorn springs or something. Through there. Now I take the other shoe and get that them in there like that, and that one in, and then almost. It's hot today and I'm fogging up. Okay. Now, looks like it's right there. So I guess I'll fight with this other spring. Yes. Be. Got it. So, 1, 2, 3. I may have to replace a couple of these studs. I did order a thread chaser in that size. I didn't have a die. So I'll see if one of these is too hard to thread on. I'll just leave it loose, and then I should have that in a couple of days, and I can and then I can tighten it down. Anyway, yeah, I'll have to chase those threads and clean them up. And if they don't clean up, then I'll have to put some new studs in. So this is probably all going to have to come apart again. But for now, I can put Dolly on all 4 and roll her around a bit. There she is. It's a roller. We got the chassis is now complete. Got all the brake lines run as much as I can. I mean, the master cylinder and all that cannot go on until after the body's in place. But basically everything that I can run, I have done. And brake is in. That turned out pretty nice, considering what it looked like before. If you recall, it was all rusty all in around here. A little bit of that chrome paint just over the rust, and some polish on the rest. Cleaned up real nice. Happy with that. Throttle's in place. Brake and clutch can't go until the body is on. But there she is. Rear brake lines all in. And the one issue I do have to address, I'm not sure why that handbrake cable is dragging across the back of the casing. So I think maybe that one bracket is bent. That I've got to look into. And I've already got a little puddle on the floor underneath that shock on that side. So there's a seal over there that I have to address. And I've got to fill up the differential with the with gear oil yet. But yeah, other than that, I think next I'm going to push this outside and cover it in a tarp. I'll probably do that on the weekend, which is coming up in another day or so. And get to work on the body. I got a mess over here, so I'm going to have to clear a lot of that stuff out. You take some of it out to the shed, make some room to work. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to get going on the body work, and it's going to be a challenge. So I sure hope you guys will subscribe and stick around, and we'll get the body work done. Thanks for watching.